So hi everyone, this is Shobik and this is my first session on YouTube, and in this session I will be discussing about which we used to often face while using Swagger UI. Okay, so before going further, let me first discuss about what the issue is. Right. I hope you all know about the Swagger UI and for what purpose we use the Swagger. Right. So it's a very good, well-known API documentation tool, and for the Swagger UI part, why we use Swagger UI? Because using which we can interact with our API easily, right? That's the thing about the Swagger. And actually Swagger do many other things, but this is not the scope of this video. If you want, please put it down in the comment below. I'll make a separate video on Swagger, right? So in this session we'll be focusing more on the issue which you used to face in the Swagger UI. So let's say we have created an API, let's say get binary, right? Let's say the API name is get binary. And what it does, it will return a file. Let's say return a binary file, right? Let's say this will return a binary file, right? So this API will return a binary file. That is fine if we only returning one binary file, right? Because we know, let's say we are using the Swagger UI, right? So if we return only one binary file, then it will give us that little cute download button, and on click of which it will download that binary file, and that is perfectly fine, right? But the problem is with, if we want to return, instead of one, if you want to return more than one binary file, right? Let me put it this way. Let's say more than one binary file if you want to return, then there is a issue, right? And then you can ask, hey Sovik, so instead of only returning a binary file, okay, we'll return a list of binary file, right? But it doesn't work that way. If you return a list of, let's say if you return a list of binary file, let's say binary file type is byte array, right? Or let's say you are returning an array of binary file, right? So this is my array. Okay, sorry, let me put it this way. Oh my god. Okay, let's say you are returning it like this, multiple binary file. Okay, and byte is nothing but the type of byte array is the type of binary file, right? So this is the binary file type, any binary file type, byte array, right? So while we want to return the multiple binary file like this, okay, then there is a issue, right? It will return the list, but it will return the list of objects. So whatever object is there, or whatever present in this byte file, it will print it over there, right? If you want to encode or decode, that's a different part of the thing. But if you return a list or the array of binary byte file, right, then it will show that content itself, right? That's we don't want. We want to download that file, right? So that binary file could be a PDF file, that binary file could be an image file, it could be any kind of file, right? We want to download that, right? And for solving the issue, let me first demonstrate these things. Okay, let me go to my editor first. Okay, we will create a brand new project, and I will be using the Spring Boot for this one, Spring Boot with Java. I will be using the Java 17. Okay, so my project name will be, let's say, Spring Binary. That's enough, right? Let me click on next, and I just need only one. Spring Web is enough, right? Let me open my pom.xml. You could see there is only one dependency, mainly two. This is not required as of now. This is for the testing purpose. This is the only dependency we have, right? So what Spring Starter Web, so it will allow me to create any servlet. So basically we can create the controller, right? So instead of controller, right, we need two other dependency also, right? I'll add that. Let me go to the Maven repository, Maven Spring Fox. So from the Spring Fox, we need these two things. One is Swagger 2, another one is Swagger UI. So Swagger 2 is responsible for creating the documentation, API documentation, right? So it's a very nice tool. It will return us a JSON documentation, and we need Swagger UI to get that nice UI, using which we can interact with our API, right? So we need both of these. So let me open first this one and this one, right? Let me close these two. And okay, so you could see 2.9.2 is the has been largely used. Okay, so I'll use this one for the Spring Swagger UI, right? As well as for the Spring Swagger 2, I'll also use the 2.9.2 because it has been used largely, right? So let me copy it, let me go to my editor and paste it down. This is my first one, Swagger 2. Let me copy the second one, Swagger UI, right? So I hope until this it is clear, right? So I have added two things. Let me reload my project. Okay, now I'll create one controller, right? Let me go to main Java. I'll create one controller. I'll name it as a binary controller, right? I'll put it in the controller package. Okay, everything is fine. Nice. And I'll create, so I'll annotate with the REST controller, that's fine. And I'll define one get mapping, and this will be my get binary, right? So it will be like public, it will return one response entity. Let me put it in this way only. So it could be of any type. So response entity get binary, that's fine. Okay, so here we'll return one. First of all, let me return only one binary file. Let us see what it happens. Okay, let me create one file. Let's say this is my first byte. Let's say this is my doc1 equal to new byte. Okay, let me put it in the 16 and return new response entity. I'll put the doc1 and my status will be of okay. That's it. And we also need to enable Swagger UI, right? So let me put it over here, enable Swagger 2. Okay, so so everything is up and fine. Let me run it. Okay, so it is failing. Why it is failing? Restoration, null pointer exception. Okay, MVC condition. Okay, it is not finding the pattern request condition, right? Okay, actually this is a common problem. Okay, it not used to occur earlier, but it is now occurring. Okay, and I'll explain it at the end of the video that why it is occurring, right? Let me just solve it out first. Okay, what I need to do, I need to go to application.properties. Okay, and I need to put one properties. So I need this property to make it run, right? And path matcher, right? Let me run it again. Okay, so it is up and running, right? And now let me go to my browser because I have already exposed one API, right? So it will be localhost 8080 for the, as we are using the Swagger, right? So let me first check what is the API docs, right? So it is already exposing, right? So if you open in the console, you could see it over here, version 2 API docs, right? So if you just give it over here, okay, let me cut one. Okay, so it is giving me the API docs which is in the JSON format, but I don't want this one first. Okay, so I want the UI version, right? So Swagger UI HTML, right? Okay, so in my binary controller, right? So I have exposed only one controller, that is get binary, right? So if you open it up and if you click on try out and if you click on execute, okay, see, this is the things which if I only returning only one binary file which is of byte array type, okay, it is giving me nice download URI URL. So if you click on it, it is downloading it over here. If you see it over here, so it is downloading, right? So there is no issue with this one, right? Now let's say I have couple of more like this, and this is doc1, this is doc2, this is doc3, right? And I want to put it everything in a list, right? Let's say it is a byte type, okay, and it is a list, and it's a new array list, right? So new array list, I'll return the list. Okay, let me rerun it. Okay, it is started. Let me go to my browser again, and let me execute it again, right? Now see, this time it is giving me an empty arrow, right? Oh, sorry, so I have to add it, list dot and doc1, list dot add doc2, list dot add doc3, right? And let me rerun it. Okay, so it is up and running. Let me go to my browser and execute it again. See, here is the issue. So it giving me a list of download file. It is directly returning me those binary values which I don't want. And even if you don't want to use the list, that's fine, right? So instead of using it like this, let's say you want to use a array, okay, that is also fine. Let's say you want to use it byte array of array, okay, x new byte. Let's say I want to store 3. So the first one, x of 0 equal to, let's say doc1, x of 1 equal to doc2, x of 2 equal to doc3, and I want to return the x, that particular array. Let me rerun it. Let me execute it again. See, the same thing is happening, right? So this is the issue with if I want to return multiple binary file, right? So let me go to my presentation again. Okay, so this is what I'm telling. So what is the solution for this one, right? Now let me tell you about the solution, right? Let's say there are two things. There are two ways we can solve it. Okay, so let's say the first one, two way, right? So the first one, we will zip everything. We'll zip all the binary file and return it. This is the first solution, right? And it will work pretty perfectly, right? And my second solution, it is little bit elaborated, right? Instead of returning file, what I will do, I will return a list of URL, right? So it will be a list of string, so URL, right? Okay, and what this URL will hold? URL will hold the API point, for the API point for those individual binary file, right? So, and let's say the first one you will be like this, something, then slash get individual, and there will be an ID. Let's say first one is the 100, right? And the second one, this is my first one, this is my second one, again something, the same, get individual, right? And this is 101, and like this. Okay, so what it will return? It will return a list of URL, right? So what user could do? Okay, it has asked for binary files. It is giving me, let's say five URL, and it will copy this URL and open it in a separate browser, Okay, it will open it in a separate browser, let's say anything, Chrome or something. Okay, it will open it and it will download that particular binary file. So that means each of this id, okay, so this is the first one, this is the second one, each of these id is responsible for or returning me individual binary file, right? So you could say better using this, we could use the zip one, right? That is perfectly fine. If you are thinking like that, it is perfectly fine. But there are certain scenario. So mainly it happens in many things, in the retail industry or in the healthcare industry. So in healthcare industry, what happens? Let's say as a doctor, you want to fetch couple of files for a particular patient, right? And for that particular patient, let's say there are five. There are 5 files are there, and out of those 5 files, let's say for the 3 files we directly have this binary file, right? And what about, sorry, binary files, and what about those rest of the two? For the rest of the two, let's say it is defining another one URL directly. Okay, let's say it is one URL, let's say one any kind of drive, let's say OneDrive or Google Drive. So it is directly giving me the URL of that drive. Accessing that URL, we could get the binary file. So in that case, what we need to do, we need to return the binary file as well as that URL, because we don't know how we could access that URL, right? Instead of accessing that URL by ourselves in the API, we'll directly return that URL. That means what is the case? We need to define one list of object, right? And which will hold the byte array as well as it will hold the string, okay, which is responsible for storing the URL, right? These things is solving that problem. Okay, URL, okay, we'll return the URL. So it is the responsibility of the user. He will open that URL and he will get the data. That's it. So we don't need to we care about that what is that URL is. If it is directly binary, okay, it will directly download it. And if it is a separate URL, then that user knows that how he could access it, because we don't know what is the authentication and authorization process for this URL, but we know about these things because we have the direct binary file with us, right? So we'll implement it like this, right? I feel that second one has a better advantages. You could say, hey Sobik, you can do one thing while using the option 1. Instead of returning only the file, we'll return another one text file where we'll print all the string URL. Yeah, you are correct, but that's not the feasible idea, right? Because user will unzip that file and it will get all those binary file. That is perfectly fine. But let's say he again open that text file, he need to copy it and paste it again in the browser and open it. So I think that is not a user friendly way. So I feel this is a much better way. We can handle it this way. How we'll handle these things? Okay, let me add another one page. I'll explain it over there, right? I'll discuss about the second scenario. So what we'll do in the get binary URL, get binary, which we have already defined. There what we'll do, we'll fetch all the binary file, all the byte array we have. Let's say it will be a list of byte array, right? We'll fetch it, right? Now what we'll do, after fetching all the byte array, what we'll do, in the global scope, we'll define one hash map, right? It will be hash map, right? It will be of type string and the byte array, because we want to store that only, right? Okay, so after fetching all of those things, okay, what we will do, we'll prepare another one list of string. Let's say it is URLs. Okay, we need to initialize it, right? So after initializing it with the URLs, okay, now what we will do, if it is a byte, if it is a directly binary file, what we will do, first of all we will put it in the map. Let's say the variable name is map itself, right? So we'll put it like this, map.put and a random key, comma 1 byte value, right? So for the binary file, we'll directly put it in the map as well as in the list of URLs also. URLs dot add urls.add. So first of all we will put it in the map, then in the URL we will prepare one string, right? We will prepare one string which will be array. So it will be my base address, then another one controller. It will be like, let's say, get file, right? And slash my random key. So what I will do, so in case of a binary, what we will do, we will put it in the map as well as in the URL, right? So I'm right now I am collecting the URLs, right? But let's say we are, instead of getting the binary, we are only getting the URL. Okay, so in that case we don't need to put it in the map, we will directly put it in the URLs dot add, right? So we'll directly put that URL, right? And at the end we'll return that URL. Right? And what it will do, it will, in the Swagger UI, it will show me all those URLs, right? And let's say user have selected one URL which has the binary file. Okay, so it will put it in a separate browser. So how we'll handle that case? We'll define another one controller for that. So that controller will be get file /1 path variable. Okay, it will accept that random key. Okay, it will return me that binary file directly, right? I hope you get the idea. Let's go to the editor and explore this first. Okay. So at first, just remember one thing. Right now I am explaining the second way, right? Sorry, yeah, this one. Returning the list of URL, right? In the next one, I'll explain this one, how you can zip all the file and return it. Okay, so I am explaining this one at first because I feel that this has a better user case and this will solve a broad case of scenario. So that's why I'm explaining it first, right? Let me go to my ID. Okay, so instead of returning it like this, what I'll do, let's say I have 3 files. You can assume it as a file. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll prepare one URL, list of string. Okay, list of string, and it will be URLs equal to new array list. Let's say I have a couple of more URLs. Let's say only string was there. It's a string s1. It's better to use the string builder, but just for the sake of understanding, I am directly using the string literal. Let's say s1 is google.com, and the second one, let's say string s2 equal to https www cleardive.io. Okay, so I have 5 things, right? So for the doc one, right? So for the doc one, what I will do, I have to define one map in the global scope, right? So you could use the concurrent map. Okay, based on the user scenario, you can use that, but here I will use the hash map, right? So it will be map of string, comma, and it will hold the key will be the string, and it will hold the byte, right? Okay, byte array, and let's say it is map. It is, let's say, binary NRY, new hash map, done. So let me first handle the doc1, doc2, doc3, right? So these are my binary file, right? And these are my URL, right? Let me first handle the handling binary, right? So for the binary, what do we need to do? We need to do 2 things. We need to store it in the map, and we need to store it in the URL as well, right? Okay, let me first add it in the map. So for the doc1, I need to I need to store those key. I need to first create the key and I need to store it in the map, right? So let me first create the key. String key 1 equal to, okay, let's string key uid dot random uid dot toString. Okay, so this is the first key and I'll put it in the map. Let's say map is my binary, right? Binary dot put and it will be my first key and doc1, right? Similar way, okay, this will be my key 2, this is my key 3, and here I need to put key 2 and key 3. This will be my doc2 and this will be my doc3, right? So I have put it in the map. Okay, now I also need to create the link for this one, right? So we need to create the URL for this document. So once we generated the key and put it in the hash map, we need to create the URL as well, right? Okay, so for this one we need to put it like this, urls dot add. Okay, and it will be, so after creating the key, what we have to do, we have to put it in the URL list, right? So we have to add it, urls dot add. So servlet URI component builder dot from current context, there is something from current context path dot URI string. It will give me the base URL basically, right? Then what we need to do, we need to put it like, what will be my URL? Let's say get binary file. Okay, it will be my new controller. I will create it in a while. Then I need to put the key, right? Q1. So this is my first URL, control C, control V, control V, and I have already added the two URLs, that is because these are the external URL, right? So I have added it over here, right? So now let me rerun it. Okay, so it's restarted. Let me execute it. See, this too is my external URL. It is understandable. These are returning my location for the binary file, right? So this is my key, right? I think I forgot to change the key variable name, right? Q1, this will be key 2, this will be key 3. Now you will see all the distinct key. Okay, so it is up and running. Let me rerun it. Binary controller, try it out, execute it. Okay, now see, I got it. Now I have to create the controller for this URL, right? Let me create it. Let's say get mapping for get binary file, right? Command C, command P. Okay, public response entity, it could be of any type, get binary file. Okay, and in the path variable, so in the path variable, it could also receive key, right? So I need to capture it over here, path variable, and it will be my string key, right? So I have captured the key. Now what I have to do, that is return new response entity. No, I'll return it like this, response entity, because here I can define the type as well, right? Because I need to download that thing directly. So if I directly return it as a binary file, okay, it will try to print out in the browser console itself, right? So dot okay dot content type. My content type will be octet stream because I need to return the binary file, right? Media type dot application dot octet stream content dot body. So in the body, what I will put, map dot, I have one map, right? What is my variable name? This is binary, sorry. Binary dot get, I need to pass the key, right? I'm done with my changes. Let me rerun it. Okay, so it started. Let me go to my browser and try it, and you could see that it is already giving me two things. This one is the first one and this is my key, right? Now let me try it out, execute it. It is giving me these things. I'll copy this out, paste it over here. Okay, so it is downloading the binary file, right? Now the things is that I don't want to, let me close it down. I don't want to show this URL over here because it is expecting one path variable. See, if I click on the try-row, it is expecting the key variable. So even if I put the key value over here, let's say this is my key value, right? So if I put the key value over here, I have copied it, let me close it down. If I put the key value over here and if I execute it, see, it is giving me the download option. But I don't want it like this because from the user perspective it is not that easy. Okay, they will directly copy the URL and paste it in a separate tab and they will download it, right? So for that, what I need to do, I need to hide this from the Swagger, right? So for that, what I need to do, on top of it, I need to define API operation. Okay, I think API ignore will also work. Start it and let me, okay, so this is the only one I have now, right? See, this is the only one I have. Let me execute it. I'm getting the output. Let me copy it down. Let me put it in a separate tab. See, it is downloading, right? So that's how we can solve this issue, right? And I'll upload this code, this whole code in my GitHub. Okay, so you can, and I'll put the link in the description. You can get the whole code from there. Otherwise, it is pretty much understandable, I think, right? And so what we have done, we have solved the second way, that will return a list of URL, because in this way we can solve all the issue, right? That returning a string, or if we want to return anything else, or we can also return return more than one binary file as well. Okay, so if you want, I can also explain the second method. This is, I'll zip all those binary file and return it, right? So please put it in the comment down if you want the video for that one as well. I'll make it. I hope you get the idea what you need to do. And if you have any doubt or any question, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, and as this is my first video, okay, so I would like to request you that please do comment down what I need to improve. If you feel that I need to change my way of explaining and the way I'm presenting the things, okay, please comment it down. So I'll be happy to get those feedback. Thank you all.